Hello everyone and welcome once again to the Global Business Update with TA for the first week of October. Now, the Apple company has been forced by the European Union to switch to C-type chargers, and they believe that this will help to prevent a lot of the unwanted wastage of electronic equipment and also having to buy different chargers for different types of electronic devices. Apple, of course, is saying that this prevents the fast charge technology from being implemented, but the authorities believe that this will help to save somewhere close to around $250 million worldwide for the users. So, environmental gain and economic gain, that's something too good to pass. How bad are the Nord Stream leaks of gas and CO2? This is the common question that ever since this rupture took place over the Denmark seas, the common question has been how bad is this impact? Now, the thing is, they are expecting around 300,000 tons of CO2 to be emitted each day. That's what the government authorities are saying. However, of government authorities of Germany. However, they believe that around 220,000 tons of CO2 is anyway emitted each day due to the normal oil transportation and leaks and emissions of methane and so on. So, in a grander scale of things, the Nord Stream leaks and the environmental disaster, while it is still a disaster, the real impact may be not so great as it's thought to be. Now, mind you, just to get an understanding of the emissions and how well these are getting set off with. Now, the electric vehicles are expected to be capturing around 60 million tons of CO2 each year. However, crypto mining releases and emits about 70 million tons each year. So you can clearly see, as much as new technologies are coming in towards cutting off emissions, the real challenge is still there of not being able to cut off the emissions from the sources as much as we would like. Sony is entering the VR headsets game once again, and they are aiming to produce and sell over 2 million headsets next year. However, the dominance of Quest is such that in the second quarter of 2022, the Quest sales, the headset of Meta, is expected to be hitting somewhere close to 15 to 20 million units. However, this new headset of Sony will enable them to up their game in the PlayStation gaming experience, and it's also said to be giving a new hint in terms of how serious Sony is on this arena, and most importantly, it indicates that some of the chip problems, the semiconductor problems that was plaguing the entire industry, might finally be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. Still in the topic of chips, well, the US and China's game over chips and limiting the Chinese access to semiconductor technology continues, with the US authorities expected to roll out some new rules, a package of new rules limiting access of Chinese firms to the semiconductor technology that the US companies are offering. If you take some of the arenas like AI, the chips required, the semiconductors, the advanced semiconductors required for this is provided by very few companies, and they almost have a monopoly or duopoly. Companies like AMD, Nvidia, and so on. Already, most of these companies have been limited and restricted from selling their semiconductor technology to the Chinese companies, and the new packages will continue to restrict their ability even more. Currently, some of the lower end technologies and lower end semiconductor technologies and semiconductors are being allowed to be sold to China, but new rules will limit those as well, and it is expected that a $550 billion potential industry of digital transformation in China may be at risk with these new rules. China too is aiming to go up their technology value chain and getting into more advanced areas such as supercomputing, but the new rules are sure to block them. Speaking of the African region, more than 8 hours of power cuts are being experienced by the South African communities as their national electricity utility provider, which is none other than Eskom, is really struggling to balance the power sector and the power requirements. And most importantly, with the election coming up in 2024 for the ruling party, the African National Congress Party, they will definitely be under a lot of pressure to solve this. Meanwhile, in Namibia, the new oil discoveries are recognizing the potential for Namibia to be the new basin for hydraulic based energy, and also some of the recent discoveries by Total Energies and even Shell have clearly positioned Namibia as the next energy hotspot. And on a final note, well, talking of the top bars in the world, next time it might not be the Big Apple, New York, or the city of London. It might actually be Barcelona that you want to be checking in for an experience of some unique bars. For example, the world's number one bar, Paradiso, and the number three bar, which is called Sips. Both are from Barcelona, and it is showing how the food and beverage sector is actually spreading around the world and moving into other parts and towns that were not really considered as the top places for a unique food and beverage experience before. However, still, 6 of the top 50 are based in New York, so the city might not disappoint you at all. That's it for this week, and no matter what business you may be in, stay safe and keep booming.